We're taking the 15-minute meal series to the land of breakfast because we all know how insane mornings can be. Whether you're trying to get your kids to school, maybe you want to work out in the morning, or you just start working really early. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But what is important is that you start your day off right with a nice homemade meal. And that's what we're covering in today's video. My top 4 breakfast options that are all super delicious, very customizable, but most importantly, they all come together in under 15 minutes. We're starting off very strong because I make this first breakfast dish more than anything in the kitchen, probably every other day, especially since I've had a kid. Oh my God, my daughter loves these pancakes. And they're very nutritious, they're very filling, and it's a mix between eggs and bananas. So if you can't choose between a savory egg breakfast and more of a sweeter breakfast, this one combines them both, and I think that's why I love it so much. All you really need to remember to make these pancakes is this ratio right here. For every banana, use 1 egg. So I'm using 3 medium bananas, which has been my go-to ratio. It gives me a solid breakfast for 3, plus some leftovers for the next day. So I'm gonna get the bananas in a bowl and start smashing. And keep mashing them up until they really start to break down and turn into like a banana mushy pudding. So we have our mixture here. This is rather thin, just eggs and bananas. You don't want to cook this yet, it will be a mess. It's only 2 more ingredients. We need to thicken this up to make it a pancake batter, so you can use any flour you want to get that result. I tend to use a gluten-free flour just to lighten it up since it's breakfast, and one of my favorites is oat flour. So I'm just gonna do a few scoops. This is all about consistency here. You do not need an exact recipe to make these. I encourage you not to use it, just go by feel. And then we do want to add some baking powder just to give them a rise. I found that 1 teaspoon of baking powder is perfect for about 3 bananas. So just adjust accordingly. And we'll start whisking that and we'll see where we're at. For me right there, that's too thin for a pancake batter. So all I'm gonna do is just add another spoonful and a half. And you'll get better at this over time as you make more of them. This is straight up second nature to me at this point. I make so many of them. All right, so that right there, perfect. We're just looking for that pancake batter consistency. So my pan is perfectly preheated at this point, and I'll scoop in just about, I don't know, a glob of oil. I'm using coconut oil, which is my go-to, but I've done it with butter, which works great, or any type of oil you have in the pantry. And just start scooping in pancakes, really whatever size you want, whatever fits your pan. So you can see they've puffed up pretty nicely. And that first batch is all about getting the temp right, getting the timing right. So if they're not perfect, totally fine. But that's what you're looking for, a nice golden brown crust. Oh, that one, a little under. Now these only need about a minute on the other side. I'll get them off, get another batch in, and start banging out pancakes. I don't actually eat pancakes stacked this high. Maybe a 4 stacker. 6 stacker is a bit aggressive, but for the video. Look at the fluff. No wheat flour in there. Still a nice fluffy pancake. It's sweet, but not too sweet. Very nutritious and just satisfying. I've been making these for years. They've ramped up since I had a kid, and I am still not sick of them. If these don't change your life, just contact me directly. Send me an email, let me know why. Oh, 4 more, that's it. So 12 medium pancakes for 3 bananas and 3 eggs. So we've got that pancake recipe. That's your daily all-purpose driver. But if you want to treat yourself to a more American style or English style breakfast with the meat, the eggs, the potatoes, but you want to do it under 15 minutes, this next breakfast is for you. All right, so this one, you're gonna need some, oh, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, I already took it out of the fridge. We've got some beautiful bacon. And you want to bacon with a good bit of fat. Look at all that good stuff, because we're going to render that out and use it for the potatoes, which are right here. So potatoes, any type will do. And of course, eggs. 2 should be fine for this recipe. Now you know that's a homegrown egg, home hatched. All right, so potatoes in a bowl. We're gonna salt these. Start that osmosis process so that moisture gets pulled out of the potato. Let that go to work for a few minutes. In the meantime, perfect. Just a nice low heat on that. You can see how it's rendering beautifully. And I've got about 2 minutes while that bacon finishes to just clean up a little bit. Pull that off. Perfect. Turn that heat to very low so this fat doesn't burn. I'm gonna take a clean dish towel, pop that right into a strainer, potatoes, and then just strain. Crucial. Potato juice. All that water out. Oh yeah. So that's a lot of fat in there. I'm gonna reserve just a little bit of that to cook the eggs. Nothing goes to waste. This is flavor. And a beautiful cooking oil. Take a look at this. Nice and dry. That's just a ball of dry potatoes right there. That's what you want. Now you could stuff that entire potato thing and make a big pancake at the bottom. It's kind of high risk. I think a lower risk option is just taking a mason jar lid, stuffing it in to make a little hash brown or latke or whatever the hell you want to call it. Move that. That's 1, that's 2, and 3. And just flatten these out a little bit. So I just realized something. These are cooking right now, and if I want to wait on them to fry the eggs, we're losing time. So if we want this meal done in 15 minutes, I'm just gonna poach the eggs in this pot right here. Luckily, I have an induction burner and it'll be ready in like 1 minute. But keep that in mind, get the water going before everything if you don't have induction. So these are ready to flip, and now that I'm not frying my eggs, I can use the rest of the bacon fat for the other side. Oops, kind of broke apart, it's fine. Oh yeah. Then hash browns, my friends. Just gonna turn that down a little bit while we poach these eggs. All right, so very gentle simmer here. About 2 tablespoons of vinegar. It's apple cider vinegar. I'll just pre-crack these real quick. Give it a swirl. Right in there. Him out. Oh, damn it. Man down, man down. I don't really have the right instrument here. Into some ice water. Maybe round 2 will be a little better. Swirl, swirl, swirl. All right, final egg poaching. I think these are perfect. Let's see. Underside, yeah, that's where I want it. Oh, damn, that looks good. I'll grab that poached egg and we will plate it up. Rip this bacon up into some pieces. Not the best poached egg I've ever seen, but it will do. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of this purple sauerkraut that I made. Totally optional. A little bit of chives would be nice as well if I had them. This will have a nice tangy kick. There you go. I mean, it doesn't look great, but that's gonna taste good. So now some of you might have noticed that insane thing hanging out in the intro. This is the opposite of 15 minutes. This is, I don't know, 72 hours or something like that. I was actually missing bannetons, so I shoved the entire dough into a loaf pan, which I never do, and baked it off. And for the love of sourdough. Now you can eat this totally alone. This is not a part of this 15-minute meal, but I feel like, I have to share this with all of you. I have to share this with someone, this moment of cutting into this thing. So this is a sourdough sandwich loaf. Oh my sweet baby Jesus. Have you ever seen anything like that? This is just like one of those, you know, make it a mess, throw it on some bread if you have it. I love that poached egg on there because it just soaks into the potatoes. That's a bite. That's a bite. That's all I can say. That is a bite. Oh my God. So a few components in that meal. You can see I was kind of racing around the kitchen. But if you're looking for a good weekend breakfast that's still quick, that's your answer. Now I've got to gather a few ingredients for the next 2 recipes, but in the meantime, I wanted to tell you about today's sponsor, which is SimpliSafe. Now I recently bought this house and I was looking for a robust security system that was affordable and also easy to install, something that I can install myself, and SimpliSafe was the perfect match for my needs. You simply go to their website and design the exact system and features you want for your own home security. Now every system comes with the base hub and the keypad, which is the brains of your security. Then on top of that, I picked up a few door sensors, some water detectors to warn me about any potential basement leaks, a programmable locking system, and some indoor and outdoor cameras. And setting up the system was a breeze. You plug in the main hub, stick on the keypad, and you're off to the races. Each additional feature has a tiny button on it that you press to sync it to the main hub, which makes it extremely easy with the wireless install. I set up one outdoor HD camera to get a nice view of the front of the house, and then the other on the side of the house, which I might move at some point, but right now I'm trying to track down some pesky deer who seem seem to be using my garden as a salad bar. So I'm all up and running and feeling a lot more secure. And if any of you out there are looking for a really intuitive and affordable home security system option, well, SimpliSafe is running their biggest sale of the year where you can get 50% off or more on your home security. So check out simplisafe.com/ProHomeCooks below in the description to learn more. Now let's collect some ingredients. It's starting to get very cold out here for these little chickens. The chickens are currently molting, so they're kind of hibernating right now. So I'm not getting too many eggs, but I think 5 should be, oh hey, 5 should be good for the last recipe. One more thing to get. So this fig tree right here was planted years ago. I additionally added 3 more fig trees just the other week. So this whole section will just be fig mania. But you can see all these figs coming in. I don't know if they'll all ripen, but this thing right here, I put bags around the ones that are ripening because they'll get destroyed by ants once they get sweet. Now that is gonna be perfect for the next recipe. Now sometimes you just wake up and you want something warm to kickstart your day, especially now that it's getting chilly outside. And every cuisine has their own type of porridge, just cozy goodness to start the day. Now my go-to for that meal is oatmeal. And we're not talking the overnight oats, none of that bullshit. I'm gonna show you how to make fresh cooked oatmeal with these grains right here. Good old-fashioned rolled oats. Now for the liquid, what I have right here is some homemade almond milk. You can use any type of nut milk. You can use regular milk. You can use water. But what I like to do in the beginning of most weeks is some homemade almond milk, which is really simple. You just soak almonds overnight, and then my favorite way to extract the goodness out of them is a masticating style juicer like this. But you could give them a nice high-powered blend and then strain off the milk as well. And then you have beautiful almond milk for a few days. Or just buy the store-bought stuff. I don't care, it's just not as good. Get your pan on a medium heat. I always start with a 2-to-1 ratio of milk to oats, and then I'll add milk if I need to thin it out. So about 1.5 cups rolled oats to 3 cups of liquid. I'm not gonna waste all my precious almond milk, so I'll do 2 cups of almond milk, 1 cup of water. I like adding bold flavors to my oatmeal so it's not boring, but season it however you want. I'm gonna do a little orange zest, a little bit of the juice, also a little bit of ginger, and then my favorite oatmeal ingredient of all, fresh nutmeg. You can just use the same microplane. See that? So good. If you don't have any of that around, just use cinnamon. A little bit of salt is very important, not much, just a little bit to bring those flavors out, and we'll just let that slowly cook and thicken up. I'm gonna wait till the end to add my sweetener. We've already got a little bubble. You can see how much it's thickened up in like a minute. Just gonna turn that down to the lowest setting and let that cook away, and in the meantime, I will prepare my toppings. Got some kiwi. All right, let's see what's going on in this fig. Slice it up. Blueberries left over from the pancakes. Since this is mush, a little bit of fresh almond to add some crunch. I'll just rough chop these. So here's where we're at after about 4 minutes. Looks good. I like waiting to add the sweetener, and you can use whatever sweetener you like. Honey, maple syrup, regular sugar. But I find if you add a really good, say, maple syrup right at the end, you just retain the actual flavor of the maple syrup rather than it losing its flavor as it cooks down over time. Now let's give that a taste. I could tell right when I did it, since I was filming, and I just poured the maple syrup in there. A little too much maple syrup. Actually, I'll just water it down slightly, that could help. But sweetening something is just like salting something. It's kind of your preference. You're basically just seasoning it with sugar. So let's see if that water helped a little bit. The actual flavoring is unbelievable. That orange and nutmeg combo, mwah! But a little less maple would have been great. Some of that fig in there. Wow, that's some dynamic flavor right there. Good texture. Exactly what I wanted, just a warm bowl of goodness. I feel like with the rise of these other trendy things like overnight oats and chia bowls, a lot of people don't know how to make just a good bowl of oatmeal. So I wanted to show you that because for me, this is a go-to and it's great to have in your arsenal. So I've got the perfect final breakfast option for you. Something I make all the time, especially if I have some guests over my house and I need something a little more substantial. Mastering a frittata. Not only can a frittata be made in under 15 minutes, it's also the best way to clear out your fridge of any ingredients, and that's what we're about to do right now. I'm using a little 6-inch pan here with a high lip, which is perfect for a frittata, but something bigger will work fine as well. The frittata just might not be as thick. And like all of these recipes, you gotta get that pan preheating immediately to save you some time. And while the pan's preheating, we're gonna prep all of the veggies that are going to this frittata. So I'm just gonna do a quick slice on about half an onion, and the same thing, I've got a leftover pepper in the fridge, and I'll just slice that up nice and thin. So I'm gonna get a good bit of olive oil in my pan. I'll dump in my veggies, start frying those off. And while those are frying, I'll work on my final veggie, which is some mushroom. But again, very customizable, use what you have. This works great with spinach. You could throw in some broccoli in there. You could even throw in some sweet potatoes. Picking the perfect amount of eggs is a bit of a guesstimate. You kind of learn over time what ratios makes the perfect frittata. I only have 5 eggs because the chickens are going into a bit of a hibernation. So that's gonna have to do, but I think it should be fine. Actually, what I'm gonna do, remember that almond milk from before? You can of course use any milk product. About a 1/4 cup of that. We're not making a quiche, so it's not like half and half, just a little bit. All right, so you can see how nice these have cooked down in just about 5 minutes. Tiny bit more salt to season those mushrooms. Now, by far the most important thing, you see all that oil, residual oil in the bottom of the pan? We want that. Your pan cannot be dry or it will stick. I'm even just gonna add a little bit more. I know it seems like a lot, but this is just the one dish you cannot skimp on oil. You don't want a sticking frittata. And we dump. I'll turn this down just a little bit. Now what I like doing is just kind of pushing out the sides, just like an omelet, just to get it going. And then once you do that, trust the crust. 2 more ingredients. Some chopped parsley. Sprinkle that right on top. And some cheese. I've got some cheddar here. Any melting cheese will work. Feta's great as well. Just grate that right on top. Let those chunks just kind of fall in there. Now this is where technique comes into play. We've got that flame on just the medium low heat, slowly building a crust on the bottom. That is direct heat from the bottom. Now this is gooey up here, uncooked egg. That's why once we've developed a crust on the bottom, I'm gonna throw it in the broiler, develop a crust from the top and cook it through. It might take a few times to really get it perfect. I've made this dish hundreds of times, but you will at some point. Now check this out. If I just peel away, because I use that oil and I trust the crust, you can see the browning in there happening. Boom, brownage. So now at this point, we're going over to the broiler. Open, we're preheated. Let that broil for about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how hot your broiler is. All right, let's check it out. Brown, bubbly, it puffed up a little bit. Good to go. Just let it cool right here. Now, one thing that's not really 15 minutes about this dish is the cooling time. You could eat that right now, or in a minute when it cools down a bit. But if you want to make sure this thing slips right out onto the cutting board unscathed, you gotta let it set a bit and just cool down for, I don't know, 5 minutes at least. So I'll clean up and hopefully we've got a golden frittata. See, look at this. It's already kind of slipping away easily. You can flip it out or just kind of pull it. Pretty clean pan. Trust the crust. Pizza pie. Moist, completely filled with veggies, even veggie action right there. I hate to say it, but I think that's a handheld action. Like a pizza. Bottom crust. Oh my God, that one came out good. To be honest, I so rarely make omelets because I think this right here, you don't have to make 3, 4 omelets for everyone. You just make one breakfast pizza. It's fluffy, it's tender. I mean, it's perfect. There's not really too much more to say about it. So that's it. That's my top 4, at least my first 4. I definitely have a few more, just like the dinners. If you wanna see more quick 15-minute breakfast, hit me up down in the comments. I'll come in with 4 more. Thanks again to Simply Safe for sponsoring this video, and click right here if you want more 15-minute meals.